For as long as I can remember, I have searched for monsters. Not the imaginary kind, not the friendly kind with fur and marketable eyes. I mean the real ones. The ones that press their faces to the dark side of the glass and wait to see if you're looking back. Any odd noise in the hallway, any shadow that stayed too long, any silence that felt arranged. I searched for the monster inside my house. And most of the time I was deeply, embarrassingly disappointed. A radiator knocking is just a radiator knocking. A door settling is just wood remembering it used to be a tree. Shadows are only furniture practicing stillness. Almost always, but not always. There are those rare occasions, exquisite, delicate occasions, when I found exactly what I was looking for. This is the first of those times. My earliest memory is of my closet door opening, not dramatically, not with wind, not with thunder. Slowly. So slowly that it could have been imagination stretching its legs. I was small enough that my bed felt like an island, and my blanket like a kingdom. The nightlight hummed a soft orange halo that did not reach the closet. It only outlined the door. The knob turned first, just a little, then the hinge sighed. The door opened a fraction, paused, opened again. No creak, no scrape, just the quiet patience of something that had done this before. The darkness inside the closet was wrong. It wasn't the kind that hides shoes and forgotten sweaters. It was depth. A yawning velvet depth that swallowed shape and returned nothing. Even the familiar silhouettes of my dresses and picture books were gone, erased, as if the closet had decided to be a mouth. I remember thinking, finally. Then the darkness moved. When it was still, it was invisible. But when it shifted, it disturbed the air, like heat rising off asphalt in summer. A shimmer, a ripple. The shape of a very thin man unfolded itself from the void. He was impossibly tall. A long silhouette stretched upward into a top hat so high it brushed the ceiling with a whisper. The hat seemed older than the world, older than the house, older than the idea of hats. He stepped forward carefully, long limbs bending at angles that were almost correct. Toys rolled aside without being touched. A picture book fluttered open as he passed, though there was no wind. He stopped beside my bed. I could not see his face, only the distortion of it, like a smudge on reality. Naturally, I pulled my blanket over my head. This is a time-honored strategy. If I cannot see the monster cannot see me. We teach this to children. We do not verify it. The blanket did nothing. I felt his fingers through the fabric. Cold. Not winter cold. Deep water cold. Cellar stone cold. Old grave cold. The blanket tightened at my chin, then slowly, gently, began to descend. It slid down my face, my shoulders, my stomach. Every inch of skin he exposed prickled and burned with frost. I lay very still. My eyes refused to open, but the cold crept across my cheeks and forced them wide. The air shimmered inches above me. Then his fingers brushed my lips. It was exploratory, curious, almost polite. That is when I opened my mouth and bit down. Hard. The sensation was not bone. It was not quite flesh either. It gave way with a soft, resistant pop, like biting into something filled with syrup. The air screamed. Not sound, but vibration. The room shook with it. The closet rattled. The nightlight flickered. Sweetness flooded my mouth. Not copper, not salt. Honeyed, thick. Almost floral. The tall distortion reeled backward, arm now shortened, hand incomplete. That was when my father burst into the room. The overhead light slammed on. White, brutal, immediate. The thin man ignited. Not with flames, with revelation. Under the light he became visible. Pale, translucent. Skin stretched tight over sharp angles. His top hat blackened and curled. His features were unfinished, like someone had sketched a person and forgot to ink the face. He shrank from the brightness, folding in on himself. "Antonia!" my father barked, scooping me up with one arm. "You know you're not supposed to snack after bed." I was still chewing. The texture was exquisite, tender, with a slight resistance at the center, like something filled with creamy marrow. "Daddy," I said carefully, because one must speak carefully while eating. "It isn't my fault if dinner crawls into my mouth." The tall man attempted to dissolve toward the shadow under my bed. My father caught him by the ankle, casually, as one might retrieve a dropped scarf. He dragged the creature fully into the light. The pale skin tightened and blistered under illumination. The hat collapsed in on itself like burnt paper. "You're just like your mother," my father said with a fond sigh. "No patience." The thin man writhed soundlessly. "Please?" I asked. My father examined the remaining fingers of the creature's other hand. He nodded once. "You may finish those," he said. "The rest can be tomorrow's supper." He carried the struggling thing out of the room, its limbs stretching and shrinking in protest as it cooked in the hall light. The closet door shut, softly. I lay back against my pillow and finished my portion. It tasted like triumph.